Hello everyone, this is Food is a Conversation Alumni Edition, session 61. So what are these live sessions about? We are introducing our ecosystem members who participated on any of the educational programs the Future Food Institute organized so far. We have an academy which has multiple different activities and educational programs, like the Food Innovation Master Program I attended myself, and now we run the boot camps with FAO together, the Food and Climate Shaper boot camps. Actually, this is very timely at the moment because currently we are running one of the digital editions, and yes, sorry, I'm just not sure if I'm inviting the right person. Maybe because this is not the handle what I was expecting. Anyway, let's improvise a bit while my person is joining me on the screen. Yes, hi. I was not sure
Hello.
I'm adding the right person to the conversation, Maria.
Don't worry, it's fine.
Maybe I also then tagged the wrong person in the post before. But let's see. Anyway, I was just telling the audience that basically today we will introduce your story. How did you join the ecosystem? And also talk about your food system relations, and also what are your plans? What are you currently working on? And for the audience, please feel free to post questions in the chat. We will try to accommodate them. It's a very casual conversation, and you will learn a lot about food and climate shapers. And afterwards, if you don't have the chance to stay with us the entire time, don't worry, because we'll post it on IGTV, so you will be able to watch it later along with the other 60 sessions we hosted already. So now, enough from me and enough from the same thing what I always explain at the beginning. And let me introduce you to Maria Civieri. And I will kindly ask you to tell us where you are dialing in from and how did you end up on the Digital Bootcamp last November? Yes.
Yeah. So now I'm in Verona, in Italy, and I end up in the Digital Bootcamp last year thanks to Marco Pianaleone, which was another Italian guy that participated at the bootcamp. So basically, me and Marco went to the same university in Trento. We both have a degrees in international studies, even though he was 1 year ahead of me. So at the time of Trento, we weren't really close friends. But then what happened was that I went to Bilbao in Spain to do my Erasmus experience. And he started his master program in Bilbao. So there, in another city, in another country, we became close friends and we started this special friendship. And then our path divided ourselves again. So he started another master somewhere in Europe, and I went to the UK to live for a while. And one day we were having a phone call, a really long phone call. And I suddenly told him, hey, you know, Marco, I think I have this new interest about the food sector. And he said, oh, really? That's amazing, because that's the same for me. And so he started telling me about the Future Food Institute and about the Digital Bootcamp. So we decided to do this experience together. So that's how I got to
Amazing.
know. Yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
Marco is also on my list to be featured here in this
Yes.
session very soon. So yeah, he was, I think, attending a master's in Brussels at that moment when we were
Yes.
attending or when the second edition was going on. So you have been already in multiple different educational programs, and that was this time also in a digital format. What were your main learnings or takeaways? What was
Yeah.
the interesting part of the bootcamp? This 4-week program.
So for me, the bootcamp was really an investment, because the time we started the bootcamp, I was really kind of lost with my life. I didn't know what to do. I've just finished a master, but I didn't know what to do or what I really liked. And I just started to work in a restaurant as a waiter, but then with the COVID situation, this work lasted only 3 weeks. So I was really discouraged. I didn't know really what to do. And that was quite rare for me, because I'm generally a really like active person and I like to do many things, many different things. So it was a really hard period I've been through. But I have to say that the bootcamp saved me because I don't know, differently from many other people that participated, I was feeling like a sponge. So every day I was absorbing so many different things that it was incredible. Like I was feeling I was learning something minute by minute, and it was incredible. So I don't know, I still remember very well the first lesson when we talked about this local ecosystem. And it's incredible how then I really applied it in my real life, in my daily life. And then also I remember the class about the dormant resources, and that taught me how you sometimes just need to see the things from a different perspective to see the value that it's in it. And also I loved when we talked about the fact that in the food sector, the word waste does not exist because there's no waste if you don't want to. And so I've learned so many things, and it was so inspiring for me also to be connected with all these different people from all over the world, that really I can say that I was a different person at the end of the bootcamp compared to the one I was when I started it. So it was really a life-changing experience, as you say, you asked at the beginning.
Oh my God, I'm very touched. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. And so, what did this help you with your interest in the food system? Did this help you to take the next action? Are you maybe still working on the hackathon challenge, what you were involved in? So, what did this help you with?
Yeah, well, I think that I really understood that in my life, I don't know what I will do, but I want to work in the food sector, whatever will be my position, my work, my role. So I think that this is not something really like small. So I'm really happy about that. And yes, for like talking about more in general terms, well, I've done this master program last year, which was in environment development and politics. And thanks to that program, I really understood how all today's crises are interconnected. So when we talk about environmental problems, so the climate change crisis is not only an environmental crisis, but is also a justice crisis, is a equity crisis, and is a livelihood crisis. So in terms of food and the food sector, I really ask myself, how can we spark a worldwide shift to a more healthier system, which is not an easy question to answer. And I know that we really learned the importance of the local scale. But at the same time, by studying these subjects during my master, I really understood how sometimes the bigger problems comes from big things. So this is the reason why, I don't know if I explained myself, but so by studying the relationships between developing and developed countries, even though I don't like this classification, I really understood how there is the urgency and the necessity to work on the developed countries, because it's from there that all the problems, or most of the problems, come from. And so we need to work on that, because then there is a cycle. So it's all interdependent. So my dream would be to be involved in this transition from a vicious cycle to a virtuous cycle. And this is the reason why I decided to do this other master, which I'm currently involved in, which is in sustainability management, which has this economic and companies perspective, which is quite weird also to me, because I always saw the companies and the sector as the big enemy. But at the same time, I really understood how for example, companies are part of the problem, but for this reason can also be part of the solution. And so I would love to be involved in this, if that makes sense.
Yes, it makes a lot of sense
Okay.
because we at Future Food believe the same. only because someone is currently not necessarily aligned with the values, with whatever we want, but they want to change, we need to help them change. Otherwise, how do we expect those bigger actors in the food industry, in this
Yeah.
case, to make that change? And that will actually have a big impact. This being said, it doesn't mean that the smaller actions are not counting, because they are very, very important, because this lot of small actions will also have certain positive impact on our food system, but we need to understand how to work together with all of the actors along the food value chain. So I completely understand what you try to explain. So you just started this masters now, so
Yeah.
you will be studying for the next 1-2 years.
Yeah.
Along the way, do you think that there is any action what you would like to take on the side, but or what you can already start working on to kind of relate the things what you learn in the university immediately in like an active way? Because as you said, you mapped out your local ecosystem during the boot
Yeah.
camp, and you might have even engaged with someone from the food shapers. So is there something what you can already do now in order to keep this connection between the theory and everything what you learn and what you want to achieve in the future?
Yes. Well, ideally, I would like somehow to connect the values of the local with the efficiency of the global. I don't know.
Okay.
And so
Yes.
even I don't know if one day I will be like someone that can take some decisions. I would really like to build a lot of collaborations and partnerships, because I think that that is the key of everything. And I think that by working together, you really can have something that has a unique value. And so, yeah, in my ideal world, I would like to keep these two, lines not together, because they cannot go together, but to find some, convergent points to make something really valuable for, yeah.
Interesting.
And then, personally, I'm really interested, of course, in anything related to the environment and the social aspect. The economic one is behind for me, but
That's okay.
yeah, I would really like to find this balance, which goes outside from my daily life. I would really like to find a work that satisfies me in this sense, that makes me feel that I'm doing an impact, like a real impact, in the sense
Amazing.
following my values. Let's say that.
Yes. Sometimes I also ask the participants to explain the whole journey, what they had in the 4 weeks. And you already mentioned a few touch points, right? The ecosystemic thinking class at the beginning, and then the dormant resources, and then the final act, which is like the biggest amount of work
Yes.
that you are
Oh
doing, is
my
the
God.
hackathon.
Yes, I have
So
to
do you want to
say.
tell? Yes, do you want to tell the audience what was your hackathon challenge, and what did you, with your team, come up with as a potential solution?
Yeah, so I've never done a hackathon before, so I didn't really know what to expect. But basically, this hackathon is an intensive work of multiple days, it depends, in which you have a problem and you need to find a solution with your team, something like that, right?
Yeah, no, I think it's
And,
yeah.
and so our topic was to find a solution, or to develop an idea about the circular living. And so we developed this hypothetical app that was not an app, but was um, a consulting app, not a consulting app, but something that
A lifestyle app.
yes, but that was created not only online, but also to be used offline, in the sense that by doing certain things that the
So
app
it was
was,
a platform which had a digital version and
yeah,
the in-person version as well.
yeah. So yeah, in this way, the idea is that the consumer could improve its circular lifestyle by doing online activities, but also offline activities. And so by knowing the local producers, more than organize some activities to reduce waste and those kind of things. But that was really amazing. I mean, in my personal experience, then I need to say that I was really lucky with the topic, because in my previous master, my thesis was on the circular economy. And so I was quite on the line already, although my topic was focused on the circular economy in some African countries, with a specific focus on electric waste. So it was a little bit different, but still,
But the principles you could apply for sure.
Yeah, it was really, and then the team was wow, was super good. I've had many experiences with working in groups, and in this occasion also I was really lucky, because we got really engaged in each other, and we were dividing the work very well, and we were talking also about many things outside the topic, and so it was really good. It was a really good experience to me.
Yes, I think, and you also had a very fun name. It was Triple C. Conscious Consumer Circle or something like this.
Yeah. And we also had our logo. But in this, my mom was really excited about that, because it was thought to be developed in Verona, because at the end we decided Verona. So she, for the next 2 weeks, she was saying, "Oh, let's go to the to the chief of the, oh my God, how do you say? To the council of the city."
The mayor.
Yeah.
Oh,
To
wow.
the project. Yeah, she was overexcited, but it's still a valuable
But that's
tool.
great. And did you go to the mayor? You should have gone to the mayor. Just say, hey, I have this idea.
Yeah,
Maybe they have the
one day,
resources.
maybe. Yeah. Why not? I think it's
Very good.
possible. It's possible. Why
Yeah.
not?
And it's very nice to hear that your mom was also engaged in the topic. So I assume she was also following the bootcamp, kind of.
Yeah, more or less.
Very good, very good. So you also mentioned that you are working on a project near to Verona, which is a permaculture or organic farm, or more or less. So I want to hear more about this.
Yeah, so basically, always talking about my local ecosystem. I got in contact with this owner of the farm called Fondo Prognoi, which is the only farm in the area of Verona that gained the biodiversity friend certification. So they are in the far front with these values and thematics. And so me, the owner, Laura, and another guy called Riccardo, one day we decided to meet together and to talk about what we would have liked to do in the following year. And so we decided to try to do this Synergic Garden. So it's a garden. I can try to find some picture of it, but basically the idea is that the way we cultivate not only don't damage the soil, but also stimulates fertility. And it's a long-term project or type of garden, because they say, people say that after only the third year, you can really see the effectiveness of the garden.
Okay, is it maybe based on the principles of agroforestry, where you are creating an,
I can just show, but yeah, it was really nice to, there are many different people. So it's something like this. You can, one of the best parts is to create these really nice shapes.
Circles,
Yeah, because it's like synergic. So there's also like the influence of the moon and the stars, and there's
very interesting.
also quite a lot of theory about that. But yeah, so
in the different circles, you have different crops next to each other.
Yeah, you
And
need
then
to,
how often do you change
yeah,
the crops? Like is
every
okay.
6 months you need to change because of the soil conditions, and you need to study the combinations beforehand. And
Mhm.
yeah, so now is the most physical work that we are doing because we need to dig, to till, and to prepare the soil. But the idea is that afterwards you just see how the soil lives and transforms itself with all the microorganisms and all this kind of stuff. So it's really incredible.
Wow.
And like parallel to that, there is the owner who every time explain us about anything about her business, and so about the bees or about her ancient kind of apples, or it's really nice.
Wow.
Yeah,
So the
it's
owner already has an
yeah,
environment where he's already doing some biodiversity
yeah,
actions.
yeah,
And is it his or her main occupation? Is he sustaining
yeah, yeah,
himself from this, or is he also
yeah,
working
yeah.
with local businesses, maybe?
She has this farm, and she has this business, and she's really engaged, and she's a really promoter of, you know, partnerships with the local realities, especially with cooperatives or like social realities. And so yeah, I love every time we go there every Tuesday and Saturday, and every day when it comes Tuesday or Saturday, I'm really happy then. It's really nice.
Amazing. So how many of you are working on this new
Yeah, we
part?
are 7 people, and we are really diverse, you know, because diversity is a value. And there is
Exactly.
a woman from France. There's a young couple, and there's another guy who is doing a special path. And yeah, so it's a really
Amazing.
diverse environment. Yes.
Well, I'm really curious to hear within 6 months how is it going and how what you observed with the soil and the different crops there. So I have one question I ask from everyone during the session, and that's about your preferred food future. So you can decide if you go utopistic and you don't care about circumstances what we have right now, what would be the best possible scenario, but you can also stay realistic and knowing what are the current barriers or obstacles. Tell me, how do you see our food future?
Okay, so I have one which is pretty, I don't know if it's not obvious at all, but it's utopistic, of course, which is
Okay, okay.
uh, I would love to that everybody would have access to food, because I think it's really cruel that there's enough food for everybody, but not everybody has access to it. So certainly, if I could do anything immediately, I would say this. But I imagine, and I'm aware that it's not really realistic, at least not in the, you know, short term. And more realistically, um, I would like, but I don't know how realistic is that neither. But I would like that when people go to the grocery stores, they the people who work in the grocery stores would explain people what there is behind every product. So a certain storytelling in the grocery store. I would love that, because I think that it gives value, a different value to food. And I think one of the biggest problems now is that people are still not aware of what there's behind what they eat. And sometimes it's even hard to understand because, for example, there is this complex labeling
Yeah.
system which you don't get the chance even to understand clearly what there is inside, what there is not. So if you're not engaged with certain things, you just don't care and cannot know about certain aspects. So yeah, I think there are many challenges, but I always tend to think that when there are problems and challenges, it means that there is a lot of potential to change. So
Yes. Amazing. That's a very good final word. And yes, I do believe that supermarkets need to change for sure, because they are like an endless sea of products where you kind of, it's impossible for you to navigate through. without putting a lot of effort in like reading and understanding and comparing and stuff. So yeah, it would be nice if we could use communication as a tool to basically like empower consumers to make better food choices. So Maria, thank you so much for being
Thank
with
you
me
too.
today. It was very interesting to hear your story. Good luck with your studies. And again, I will check in about this farm project
Okay.
later. Maybe you can send us some photos
Okay.
when it's starting to develop. For
Okay.
the audience, if you joined us late, don't worry because you can hear the whole inspiring conversation after it's posted on our IGTV, right after we finish here. And check out the other 60 sessions we hosted with our other alumni and their stories about their local food systems and their educational programs and everything. So thank you so much and stay tuned. The next conversation is on Thursday, 8:30 a.m. Central European Time. Great. Thank you. Have a nice
Bye. Have a
evening.
nice evening.
Bye.
Bye, Julia.